Welcome back to Investing with Confidence on this beautiful, beautiful day. And it's a beautiful stock market, as we always talk about every single week. If you happen to miss tickets for the investing class that we do at our local academies, stock trading and investing classes. And by the way, these are free. We have tickets for these. You can get your phones ready. I'm going to give you a text line to get some tickets. Text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's text investing to the number 210-210. And these classes are at our sponsor, Online Trading Academy, at our local academies. So, and we were talking about in that last segment about especially opinions. They just, unfortunately, Al, they just don't move the markets. So that's why, as investors, we need a strategy. And Online Trading Academy has a core strategy that's designed to teach you to make smarter and better investing decisions. So it's following the smart money. And we talk about the smart money every week. We talk about the Goldman Sachs, the Merrill Lynches of the world, the big banks. They move the markets. So we want to trade like them. And all you have to do is identify where they are moving price. And that's what our strategy at Online Trading Academy is designed to do, is follow that smart money. Especially, when people are looking for different income strategies. We have a lot of listeners. We were talking about this last week, and we had a lot of people texting in that really wanted their goal was to have a second income strategy on top of their job. Because, and you kind of talk about this every single week, that's how we build wealth, is by having multiple income strategies. So it's actually extra income.
Right.
So, and you alluded to in that last segment, you mentioned futures, Forex, and options. So we have a lot of people listening that love the stock market. Great opportunity for investors right now, right? Well, there's other opportunities that they may not even know about yet. Talk about those.
Yeah, and that is the fact that most of the things that we're talking about that are really ideal for income, people don't know about, or they might have heard of, or they're afraid of because they've heard stories. But let me just step back here a second. When you started this segment, just for the people that just tuned in, when Josh says this is a beautiful stock market, and you're going, what in the heck is he talking about? I just lost my shirt the first half of this year. It should be a beautiful stock market. It should be a beautiful financial market for you, because you don't have to ride those down. So let's just get that out of the way right now.
I'm glad you broke that down for me, because a lot of people are in pain right now because of the market. But it's actually a phenomenal opportunity once you know how the market works, how the institutions actually move market, and you have a core strategy as well.
Exactly. And if you're in that category, if you're in that pain category or discomfort category, what are you going to do to get out of it? What are you going to do to change? Because there are things you can do. You're probably just not taught how to do them. You're not, guided towards that by Wall Street, because they have a different objective, I guess, in mind with your money. So why do people need income? Let's talk about that first. Why do you need income? Well, where does your income come from now? It's probably, for most of you, coming from a job, maybe one job, maybe two jobs. And that is what really kind of fuels or keeps you alive, so to speak. I mean, it's not free being alive. There's costs out there, and we all know that those costs have just gone up significantly. So maybe what you used to rely on to pay your bills, have a little bit of fun, and put some away for the future, maybe you can't do that now because the cost of living has gone up so much. And inflation is a huge issue right now that people are really concerned about. Even people that are in that six-figure income, CNBC did a poll, and they polled people that were making over $100,000 a year. They found that 96% of those people are concerned about inflation. 65% are very concerned. In that group of people that are in the six-figure income, 34% said they're worse off financially this year than they were a year ago. 46% had to cut household spending due to inflation. And if inflation gets worse, another 38% plan to cut spending. So
that doesn't sound very fun to me.
Cut
this, cut that.
Right.
Have less fun.
Yeah, and then in the worst, it's worse, Josh, because then when you go into retirement, one of the suggestions by Wall Street is, well, learn to cut back. Get a smaller house. Maybe get a part-time job. Maybe get a roommate. I even heard that as a suggestion at one time.
You would like a roommate, wouldn't you?
No, I would not. I can hardly say I had to live with myself. But those are things you don't want to put into your life. Let's enjoy life. There's a lot of things out there.
What can people do differently then?
You know what? They can learn how to generate additional income, maybe supplemental income. And we talk about this a lot, where the people that are truly financially comfortable, successful in this world, have multiple sources of income.
So what type of strategies are there in the markets then?
Well, a lot of people rely on the stock market thinking that is basically their only go-to. It could be stocks or mutual funds, but those are really intended more for a long-term type of a portfolio. If you need additional income, it's something that you can't wait years to access. So there are strategies and assets that the big institutions use, the big pros use, people like Warren Buffett, even though you will hear him say he's a long-term investor, and he is for a lot of things, but he also makes billions of dollars a year off of these short-term investments. I'm talking about things like the futures market, the foreign exchange market, the options market. Some people might even throw in the cryptocurrency market now, but those are things that you can get into and out of on a short-term basis. Not only is it are they ideal for short-term trading, short-term income, but also they're ideal for maximizing the impact, the productivity of your investment dollars. What I mean by that is that they have leverage, like a mortgage on a house. If you buy a $400,000 house, all you need to do is maybe come up with $30,000 or $40,000 as a down payment. You now control a $400,000 asset for $30,000 or $40,000. That's leverage. You can do the same thing with futures, forex, and options. You can have a small investment account that can potentially control a much larger investment. That's maximizing the impact, the value of your investment dollars.
I want you to break that down a little bit more coming up here, but just to kind of go back a little bit, you know, with the short-term strategies that are out there, to the novice trader, I guess to the person that hasn't done that before, that's not in the market, basically as an investor or trader, and we call it a retail trader, they have access to, so let's just say an example. Let's just say an investor places a trade and makes $1,000 as an example. Mm-hmm. When you have a retail account, when you have futures and forex, you're able to actually take that money out of there after that trade is closed.
That's correct.
So that's where the short term comes into play. Is this, if you know, as people are looking for income strategies, that's an opportunity that might be out there for people. So it's not like it has to stay in there. It's what is it, ACH? I think that's how it comes back, and that's just an opportunity to have that income strategy on top of your job. And we have a lot of listeners, Al, that are looking for something like that, but they're not sure how that all works.
Sure.
You actually dissect that a lot in these investing classes, different income strategies with stocks, options, futures, forex, but also different strategies if people aren't sure how to take the money out. You know, that's what Online Trading Academy, our sponsor, can help with, is how do you do that? How do you do that consistently, but also confidently? So we have investing classes at our local academies. I'm going to give away some tickets to, and this is going to be for the first 10 texters. You can text right now. Get your phones ready. It's real easy. Text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's text investing to the number 210-210 for 2 free tickets. Also, you're going to receive a quick start kit, and there's some information in there that will actually help you get started right away. So as I kind of interrupted you there for a second, Al, you were mentioning leverage. Mm-hmm. So it's an opportunity for investors or traders to use a smaller amount of cash to control a much larger asset. That's actually the definition of leverage in the financial markets. So people work during the day. There's also other opportunities with the futures market and the forex market, because if people are working during the day, the stock market might be kind of tough. It's still an option or opportunity, pun intended, but it's still an opportunity there. But if people work 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or something like that, that's during stock market hours. It's hard for them to get in the market. So talk about the futures, the forex market, the opportunities off hours.
Well, first of all, I want people to understand that what we're talking about when we talk about short-term income, it doesn't mean that you have to sit in front of a computer and monitor everything and watch it and get into and get out of it mechanically on a short-term basis. That's not at all what we're talking about. One of the things that we do is show you how to preset a trade so you can know what your entry price is going to be, what your protection is going to be, what your profit target is going to be. That's all preset, so you don't have to be there. And there are some assets that trade 24 hours a day. So stock market's open 6.5 hours a day. Again, it doesn't mean you have to be there during that 6.5 hours, but if you're going to be more active, then there's a limited time there. Futures and Forex trade 24 hours a day. And that gives you great opportunities to do this at your time, within your time frame, at your leisure, and it gives you an opportunity to participate in things that are happening after our market closes, because there are significant things that can happen that will impact our stock market when it opens. You can actually be participating in those, or at least aware of them, and make better decisions within the stock market if that's what you choose to trade.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned there, and I want to cover this on the next segment. So you mentioned you don't have to be there. And I think our listeners are probably thinking you have to be on your computer at that time, or you have to be glued to your computer all day long. I know you have a way better memory than I do. Remind me on the next segment, and for our listeners too, that I want to talk about how to place your trades and let the computer work for you, because I just want to make sure that we cover that on the next segment. So there's opportunities to place your trades and let the computer do it for you, basically execute it for you. Right. So continue on with these opportunities with futures. So what is the futures market exactly?
You know, the futures market is it's a family of things. And one of the things that Wall Street might talk about, your financial advisor might talk about, is having you diversified. That is their safety net, so to speak. That's how they're going to protect you, is with diversification. The problem is they don't really diversify you. They may have you in different stocks or different mutual funds that cover different components of the economy, but they're all in one asset, and that's in equities. They all become very highly correlated when the market goes down. When we see a major correction or a bear market, there's some fantastic companies that don't deserve to be taken down, but they are. It's like I always like to use the analogy of a bathtub. If you have a bathtub full of water and you pull the plug, you can't point to a section of the water and say, don't go down. It's all going to get sucked down. Yeah. That's what happens in these big bear markets. So you don't have to do that if you're properly diversified. The futures market consists of the stock market, so you can trade the stock market. You can trade commodities. What is your favorite, Josh?
That would be lean hogs.
Lean hogs. People are going, how do I trade lean hogs? Corn, sugar, soybeans. Those are commodities. Oil. What about oil?
Yeah.
Oil is a great market. What about precious metals? Gold, silver. How about currencies, individual currencies? How about interest rates? All of those things are part of the futures market. Some of them are inversely correlated. Some are not correlated at all, and some are correlated. So you can put together a truly properly diversified portfolio right within that one family. And you're just looking at whether something will be worth more in the future or less in the future. You can participate in an up market and a down market. And also, one of the things that we're going to show you how to do is make sure you know how to have the proper risk management in place. Yep. So, the components are there to be properly diversified. It's a short-term trading market, so you are getting into and out of a trade on a short-term basis. And again, you don't have to be there to do it. You're pre-setting a trade.
Yeah, and we're going to cover that in the next segment here. But that's the key in the financial markets, is to be properly diversified. So that way it's not just a one-way strategy, and you're able to have certain things gain as others lose. So that way, that's how you really diversify properly. Not everything in the stock market, or not everything, which is worse, in the mutual fund market, which we'll probably cover here probably the next segment, but maybe we'll talk more about mutual funds and fees in the last segment. So if you want to learn more about that, stay tuned for that. But we've had a lot of people text in with this during the show, and people are really taking action with their finances, which is awesome. Hopefully we can inspire people to do things a little bit differently, so not be stuck in status quo all the time. Mm-hmm. So we have these investing classes. So if you haven't texted in for this investing class, by the way, they're free. They're at our local academies to teach you to make smarter investing decisions. So text the word investing to the number 210-210. That's text investing right now to the number 210-210. That's for the first 10 texters. When you do that for the first 10 texters, you're also going to receive a quick start kit that will help you get started right away. So actually, Al, I did remember, coming up next, we are going to talk about how to place your trades and let the computer execute it for you. We'll talk about that coming up next, but also some different retirement techniques and strategies. This is Josh and Al, Investing with Confidence. We'll be right back.